Now I would like to discuss how the issue of Srila Prabhupada being poisoned evolved in ISKCON. First of all, there were some rumors after 1977 that Srila Prabhupada had said he was being poisoned, and it was very hard to pin down where this rumor was coming from or who had started this rumor and so on and so forth. But there was something in the ether. Once in a while people would say, oh, Prabhupada might have said he was being poisoned. All this could not be confirmed. Of course, it was very hard to confirm anything when we considered that the leaders of ISKCON had been suppressing Srila Prabhupada's letters, they suppressed his will, and they suppressed the audio tapes that were made of conversations with Srila Prabhupada throughout 1977. These tapes were not available to the devotees. And so our first breakthrough really came in 1990 when the archives, the Bhaktivedanta archives, printed a limited edition of the conversations with Srila Prabhupada that he made in 1977. And in those conversations, Srila Prabhupada mentions poisoning in English, but then there's a very mysterious little item in brackets which says, conversation in Hindi about poisoning. So it was very apparent that there was a lot of more detailed conversation going on about poisoning, which was not included in that book, but at least this gave us a hint that there had been conversations about poisoning. So at that time, I began to pray to Krishna, please give me these tapes, because if I could get the audio tapes of the Hindi conversations, I could translate them, and we would find out a lot more details of the poisoning complaint from Srila Prabhupada. By 1995, I got my first big break with the poison issue. A devotee from Houston, Texas called me up and informed me that he had been present, not in the room, but he was just outside the room when Srila Prabhupada said he was being poisoned, and he saw Bhakti Charu come out crying, and he asked Bhakti Charu, why are you crying? And Bhakti Charu said, Srila Prabhupada just said that he was being poisoned. So this devotee, he was present at the time, he was an eyewitness, and so he knows that some of the big ISKCON leaders were talking about poisoning. Prabhupada was talking about poisoning. This particular devotee had friends inside the archives, and he was able to get a copy of the tape. So this devotee promised me on the phone that he would bring copies of a few tapes from the end of 1977 to me in Los Angeles. Just before he came to bring the tapes to me, he visited Narayan Maharaj, who at the time was associating with Tamal Krishna. Tamal Krishna, of course, being one of the main suspects in the poisoning of Srila Prabhupada. And this devotee told Narayan Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada said he was being poisoned, and Narayan Maharaj became angry as fire, and he was spitting mad, and he said, no one should talk about Prabhupada being poisoned, this is nonsense. Of course he was angry because he was associating with the main characters who were suspects in the poisoning of Prabhupada, and he was propping them up as gurus and authorities. So Narayan Maharaj was very implicated in covering up the poison issue. He also probably knew about it from 1977, and he just never mentioned it at all to anyone. So he was part of the conspiracy to cover up the poisoning issue for sure after it was presented to him by this devotee. But I had already noticed some very strange things just from the English portions of the conversation. For example, on November 3, 1977, Srila Prabhupada says, my only request is do not torture me and put me to death. Why would he have to ask the leaders around him, don't torture me and kill me? So this is very strange in itself. He's begging his leaders, don't torture me and kill me. What does that mean? That means he's being tortured and killed. That's basically what it means, and of course poisoning by arsenic or something like that is torture. Now one thing that came out later on was that some of the leaders around Srila Prabhupada were talking in his presence about poisoning him. They were whispering, but we were able to enhance some of these whispers and find out that people in the room around Prabhupada were talking about poisoning him. So this is why on November 10th, 1977, Srila Prabhupada starts out a conversation with his doctor saying, someone said, I have been poisoned. It's possible. So someone said, who said that? The people in the room around him, as we later on found out with audio forensic enhancement of the tapes that I got hold of. We found out that people were talking about poisoning him. So Prabhupada says, someone said I've been poisoned. yeah, someone was saying, let's poison him. They were talking about that in the room around Prabhupada. And so the doctor asks, what are you saying? And Srila Prabhupada confirms. He says, Koi bolta hai, ye koi poison deya hai. Someone says that someone has given me poison. So someone is saying that. Someone's talking about that. And so the doctor says, to whom? And Srila Prabhupada says, to me. I am the person being given poison. And then the doctor says, who is saying that? And Srila Prabhupada says, ye sab friends, which means all these friends. All of the people in the room around him are talking about poisoning him. So Prabhupada, no doubt, heard them talking. Of course, when Srila Prabhupada says, all of my friends are talking about this, he's being very sardonic in his humor. My friends, my leaders, the people around me, the people who are supposed to be my friends, they're talking about poisoning me. And so the doctor responds by saying, anyone who thinks about doing this is a demon. So it's clear that the doctor understood that Prabhupada was saying, I'm being poisoned by somebody, and the doctor says, and whoever's doing that must be some kind of a demon. So it's not some accidental poisoning by, a problem with his medication. No, a demon, a person, or persons are poisoning him. So the doctor asks again, he's asking Prabhupada, you know how you said today that somebody said that poison was given. Did you get some indication about this? What? So Srila Prabhupada responds by saying, no, someone said that when poison is given, this is what happens. Maybe it is written in some book. So Prabhupada's, he's being a little clever because possibly the poisoners are in the room around him. So he's kind of coding what he's saying, but he's clearly saying now that he has the symptoms of a person who is being given poison. He says this is what happens when poison is given to somebody. He will have all of the physical symptoms that I have, and of course this has been confirmed that Prabhupada had the symptoms of a person being given heavy metal poisoning. But the doctor is pretty clear at this point. He understands that Prabhupada is really saying that there's somebody around here giving me some poison. And so the doctor says raw mercury would make you have these symptoms. In other words, a heavy metal, mercury or arsenic. And there are other things which can make this kind of symptom happen. This is what the doctor is saying. But I mean, who would do that to you? My understanding is this. Anyone who thinks about doing this to a saint is a demon. So again, the doctor is confirming that he thinks somebody is intentionally poisoning Prabhupada. And it's a demon. Anyone who would give poison to a saint is a demon. These are the words of the doctor. So the doctor was very much convinced that Prabhupada was being intentionally poisoned by a demon and or demons. Now the next section of the tape is interesting. Tamal Krishna asked, Srila Prabhupada, you said before that it is said that you were being poisoned. Srila Prabhupada, no, these kind of symptoms are seen when a man is poisoned. He said like that, not that I am poisoned. Tamal Krishna, did anyone tell you that, or you just know it from before? Srila Prabhupada, I read something. Tamal Krishna, I see, that's why we actually cannot allow anyone else to cook for you. Srila Prabhupada, that is good. So now we see that Tamal Krishna is actually verifying that Srila Prabhupada may be intentionally being poisoned, and that's why we cannot allow others to cook for him, because someone is slipping poison into his system, either through medication or through his food or something else. Unfortunately, the people doing the cooking for Prabhupada and giving the medicine to Prabhupada are the main suspects in poisoning Srila Prabhupada. And then Tamal Krishna goes on to say, Jaya Pataka Maharaj was telling that one Acharya, Sankaracharya line, a while ago he was poisoned to death. Since that time, none of the acharyas or gurus of the Shankara line will take any food except cooked by their own men. So Tamal is now admitting that he and the other ISKCON leaders were actually talking about how gurus were being killed by poison.